Hi there, Sandra here from Create in Spain, and I'm glad you've joined me today. I have got a little project to do, and that is making a flower, a three-dimensional flower, and to that end I have got the middle of the flower put onto a piece of wire. Now this is quite a heavy-duty wire, it's one I just happen to have lying around. Now what I've done on both ends is I have curled the wire round. Both ends, the reason why is because this side means that it's not going to stab someone, and in the case of the curl in here, it stops this top piece from coming off or being pulled off. If you just stick a piece of wire into something like this foam clay, it'll dry, but it's still prone to falling off, and this will actually stop it because it literally cannot come out of there without a really good sharp tug. Now this is the stuff that I get locally. It's very cheap, it's about €1.50 for a packet of it, and the reason I'm using it is twofold. It's very light, it air dries, it's clean to use. You can give this to young children, as you can see that's what it's designed for, and they're not going to get into a real mess with this. It's not sticky, and it dries nicely, and it dries so that it still feels slightly foamy. It takes a very, very long time to go very hard. You can also paint it, you can glue things onto it. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Now I chose to use black because I wanted to use some of this stuff on it. This is a airbrush paint. You don't have to use it in airbrush, but it's one that I've got, and it's a colour changing paint. But colour changing paints work a lot better if you put them on a black surface. This one is turquoise violet. A couple of drops on here, and I'm just going to rub it on with my fingertip. It's going to give a little bit of extra colour to this, a little bit of extra interest. Doesn't take very long to dry, it's an acrylic. There's no point in getting a brush out just to do that little bit. You don't have to. You can also stick little seed beads and things like that on it to make it look a bit like one of those licorice all sort of things. Do what you like. You can even, when you've got a piece like this, you can roll it onto a textured surface and make it all dimpled and everything. Now the reason I have this piece separate is just to remind me to tell you, if you're unsure what you're going to do with your central piece and you've got 2 or 3 different options that you're weighing up, don't bother to put it onto the wire. Use the wire for the petals and everything, but glue this in afterwards, because you can change the look of this and then glue it on when you've got the effect that you require. So these have been cut out from embroidery backing. You can buy it by the meter. This is a tearaway backing, fairly lightweight, but it's good stuff in that it takes colour very easily. You can get it really wet and it's not going to disintegrate on you. So you can paint it, dye it, airbrush it, soak it in alcohol, do what you like with it, it's going to be fine. What I want to do with these is to fold it up from the centre a bit, and then I'm just going to curl it around and screw it up. But when you look at flower petals, they're not normally completely flat. They're sometimes not entirely perfect. They tend to have wrinkles in them, and this is a relatively easy way of putting the wrinkles in. You can also break up the paper a bit by using a piece of foam like this, and this sort of tool which you get for doing icing and various other things, and you can curve petals like this. It breaks up the fibres in the paper a little bit. As I said, this was a safety thing, so I didn't stick myself in the finger with a piece of wire, and it's going to go through the middle of this one. So that one goes on. Put a hole in this, and what I need to do now is to do something I forgot, and that's get my glue gun out and heat it up. So when you're gluing this, what you want to do is to put the glue onto this part here rather than putting it onto the paper, and the reason for that is, as I discovered, you'll just end up getting loads of glue down the wire if you put it on the paper. It's just going to keep it in place. Glue there, let that go down. Any strings you can pull off afterwards, not a problem. I'm just twizzling it a bit. Now this one, you want to try and set it so that it is like that. Those pink, pale pink ones are in between the deep pink. So just put a tiny bit of glue between those two layers just to fix it. It doesn't need very much, it's just to stop it moving around, which is this dark one here. Again, a little bit of glue. You don't want much because you don't want to add any bulk to this. And just put it in place. And there we have our pretty little flower. And allow it to dry properly. This will take 24 hours to dry out properly. You can always give it another coat of paint if you like. Now if you have an airbrush and you want to, you can use some paint and you can airbrush the petals in situ. If you don't have that, you can use little foam brushes or even the little blending brushes. Add some tinge of colour to the outside the petal. So once you've got the flower as you want it, you can cut off the excess wire. If you've got too much there, you can double it back on itself and twist it up. And if you really want to, you can do what I've done here, which is just wrap a little bit of florist tape around it as well. I don't find florist tape particularly easy to use, but if you can glue it to the top and get it started, when it comes to the end, you can put a dab of hot glue on the end of it to wrap it up and make sure it stays in place. And there we have our cute little flower. Very sweet, a nice little thing to do for a birthday, maybe put on a gift package or something like that. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.